At least we figured out the goalie conundrum.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL's Tuesdays episodes. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be talking about Askarov's struggles, Walman getting benched, Celebrini Smith got some points, dig into what happened with the Sharks 6-2 loss to the Seattle Kraken, and Igor Chernyshov made his OHL debut, and he looks good, kids. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. And the big story coming out of the Sharks 6-2 loss is Yaroslav Askarov's struggles. Tonight gets pulled after giving up 4, including a brutal second period by the San Jose Sharks, just in general, as they gave up 4 goals in a matter of 5 minutes. Yeah, Sharks went full Vegas on us, didn't they? Anyway, just a tough night. And there's plenty of discourse. Well, Askarov struggled lately. Maybe, Askarov, whatever. Like, he just doesn't look the same guy. Also, the Sharks didn't play well in front of him. Is it column A, column B? It's both. Askarov has struggled. I know he played really well last game, which is okay. 22-year-old netminder, kind of this is his first real NHL experience. You're going to have your ups and just like you have your ups and downs of Will Smith and Eklund-Celebrini, you're going to have your ups and downs with Askarov. So, also, the defense didn't help out tonight, and there was a lot of the same errors from the Sharks of brutal turnovers in your own, in your own defensive zone. Just plays where they just didn't get back, not capitalizing on a power play that looked really, really good, but got gassed because they spent the entire 2 minutes out there trying to score. Puck gets behind them as Schwartz comes out of the box. And do you want Askarov to make a save there? Yes, you want Askarov to make a save there. But it just how the night went for the Sharks. We've seen this before, right? When things go bad, they go from bad to worse to, oh my gosh, what happened? Really quickly for San Jose. But back to Askarov, though. I think this kind of solves the Sharks goalie conundrum, right? With Vitek Vanecek set to be back anytime, right? He's currently in the AHL on a conditioning stint. Askarov, who will be sent back to the Barracuda tomorrow, Friday, when you're listening to this. That way he can participate in the AHL All-Star event. Askarov's going to spend some time in the AHL right now, which is good, right? Continue to polish his game. An AHL team that's, I think, is really good, especially when Askarov's there. I know they've kind of been since, December-ish, since basically Askarov got called up. They've been kind of floating along a little bit, but I think with Askarov there, that AHL team is very, very good. And Vitek Vanecek can come up, and Georgiev can come up, and those guys can continue to do what those guys do. So my guess with Vitek Vanecek is I would assume he plays Friday. The Barracuda do play Friday and Saturday against the Henderson Silver Knights. Luckily, the Silver Knights are like the worst team in the Pacific when it comes to point percentage. And I think this is a really nice spot for Vitek Vanecek to kind of come in, play a game, get some confidence. We'll see you in San Jose we'll see you in the NHL on Tuesday. That would be my guess, right? Vitek Vanecek, Gorgiev, those guys can share the net, fight it out for who wants to get out of here. It's kind of like the Joker breaking the pool stick and like throwing it down in front of like you two fight it out for who wants to get out of here. So that's what I would assume probably happens. And I think that's the best. Okay. If Askarov was continuing to play really well, like we saw in December, okay, like that's a different story. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for him to go back to the AHL, play in front of a much better team with a much better defense, and just kind of regain his confidence. And knowing full well that the Sharks are going to have to kind of retool this defense on the fly this offseason, especially if Askarov is going to be your starter going into next year, it's okay to shelter him a little bit. Like, it's okay. It's okay to shelter him, put him in a position to succeed. It's that way you don't ruin his confidence. And you saw sad Askarov at the end of the game with a towel around his neck, and he just looked like he lost his puppy or something like that. Just did not look like Askarov. So this is a hope, right? Goes back to a familiar situation. He gets to go play with Muka Madulin, who's one of his best friends. Like on a really good team with a really good defense. And don't be surprised if you see the Barracuda make a big run here with Askarov back in net. So, yeah, I'm not worried about Askarov and his long-term, the last thing, I'm not worried about that. I did mention this, right? When Askarov was playing well, it's like, how long is his defense going to hold up? And are you going to keep Askarov here to get pummeled behind this defense and behind this team right now that is just one, missing a bunch of people, and two, just again, not the most talented team in the world. So yeah, it was poor Askarov. I do feel bad for him. One guy who didn't have a good night and actually got benched for the final kind of 7 minutes or so, Jake Walman, who we talked about the other day, kind of just hasn't really looked like the same guy we saw from the beginning of the season, especially since his latest injury. And tonight, you saw on the 6th goal, just a poor effort from him to kind of get in the way of, I think, Tolvanen. Tolvanen makes kind of gets out there. Poor Cody CC doesn't really have a chance as he's just getting on the ice and trying to kind of get back there. And Tolvanen just cleans out, right? Nice goal from Tolvanen. But from there, Jake Walman spends the rest of the game on the bench. Even when the Sharks, they get a power play late, Henry Thrun is the one out there on power play 1. Yes, it was 6-2 at that point with 5 minutes left, but still like Celebrini, Toffoli, Eklund, Granlund, like the rest of your power play 1 unit was out there. Interesting that Walman didn't see any more ice time. So I am very curious to see how Warsofsky handles this. Because, right, we've seen Walman has gotten, he did get a game for missing some therapy and stuff like that with, I guess that was a miscommunication. Do the Sharks bench Walman for Tuesday's game, or is it maybe enough time has kind of passed between them? We'll know more when they have their kind of next practice and how they work things here. But I think it was important though for Warsofsky, who again, even though the game is way out of hand, right? It's 5-2. It's late in the third, but when a veteran like that, when he doesn't make a full effort, I think that was an important kind of moment, especially for the younger players to see, like, it doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter the time. Like, what you need to play hard all the time and not give poor efforts. Walman gave a poor effort there. So good to see him held accountable in that moment. But again, like, does this continue, or does Walman kind of get another chance? You've seen Warsofsky be very, I don't want to say generous, but he is willing to kind of forgive and forget and let guys kind of move on with it. So I kind of expect Walman to be out there again, but with a much better performance. Wouldn't be surprised if he has a really great game as the Sharks host the Habs on Tuesday nights. I wouldn't be surprised if Walman does have a great game, which would be nice because Walman, again, just hasn't really been the same guy since his injury. And again, I don't want to put everything on Walman, but like Walman plays well, the Sharks tend to play well, right? Walman hasn't played very well recently. The Sharks haven't really played as well. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll continue here, dig into more of this game, look at the numbers behind it, talk about Celebrini and Smith and as they continue to rack up points here. Look at how the Lions perform, talk about Kovalenko's injury, all that good stuff here in just 1 second. If you want to get tickets to the Tank, maybe go see Steph Curry and the Warriors, or go to the Super Bowl. I think that's happening pretty soon. You need to check out Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I've used Game Time Picks. I used it last month. Go see the Sharks and the Flames. Askarov performed great that night. Celebrini did cool things. Unfortunately, the Sharks lost that game, but it was super easy. We got seats like 10 rows back, a couple taps. I had tickets straight on my phone. Had a great time with my family. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, before we dig into the numbers of this game, I do want to, of course, thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, perfect time to subscribe wherever you're getting podcasts, or if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe. Hit the little like button on the video. That way helps to get the podcasts out there more. You know how the algorithm works. So if you are listening on Apple, perfect time to leave a review. Makes me feel good, number one. So you should do that. All right. Let's dig into the numbers behind this game. Because like if you look at the numbers, like it's a really kind of close game. Like it felt like if you just kind of dig the numbers, it's like, oh, this game should have been like a 3-2 affair where maybe the Kraken kind of, get one here or there, but it wasn't. It was 6-2 because when things went wrong, things went really wrong for the Sharks, which has kind of been the story of the Sharks season, right? So we had 53-12 of 5-on-5, 58-50 shot attempts in favor of the Sharks. In favor of the Kraken. It's pretty close. Actual shots on goal at 5-on-5 was 30-23. Scoring chances 27-15. High danger chances 10-6. 2.46 to 2.07 expected goals for. So again, like those numbers are really close. Like we have seen much worse performances from the Sharks. And I will say, like, first 5 minutes, all Kraken, right? Which you can kind of expect. Sharks haven't played since Monday. Usually it kind of takes a kind of 5 minutes or so for them to kind of get going. Then the Sharks played really well, kind of halfway through the first period. They earned that goal, super fluky by Carl Grundstrom. But they earned that goal. Like they were playing well. They were taking it to it. And then as soon as the second period started, things went off the rail. And the Kraken did a really good job of not only scoring 4 goals, but then also really pushing it and taking it to the Sharks. The final, half of the second period at 5-on-5, and the Sharks just basically kind of floated along from there on. So, like I said, that second period, 23-15 shot attempts in favor of the Kraken, 15-5 actual shots. So the Kraken were just getting much better quality shots and holding the Sharks down to actual shots on goal, 11-5 scoring chances, 5-3 high danger chances, and then a 1.08 to 0.48 expected goals for at 5-on-5. And then, of course, Sharks get into a little bit of penalty trouble. You get the 5-on-3, and that was it right there. Like, no chance for the Sharks to come back after that 5-on-3 situation. So, as for the lines, little funky again. Kovalenko did leave the game after the second period. Went back after they announced that. I went back and rewatched his last shift. I didn't really see anything that like kind of stood out to why, like, it wasn't like a hit or anything like that kind of stood out to like why he left the game. But who knows? So maybe it wasn't feeling good. Like maybe who knows? So we'll probably we probably will get too much again with the Sharks not playing again until Tuesday. I can't remember. I'm pulling up right now if they have practice or not. I wouldn't be surprised if they have the day off on Saturday or day off on Friday. There's no schedule right now, so wouldn't be surprised if they're given the day off to kind of just go and then try to hit it hard on Saturday and Sunday or start gearing back up, because it's a good time for the Shark. Like, they don't really get a lot of practice time, so maybe they utilize this practice time here to kind of get things back. But anyway, to the lines. Eklund-Celebrini-Toffoli was your only like positive line. They played 13-37, 20-16 shot attempts, 7-4 actual shots, had a goal, gave up a goal. Told you guys, Toffoli, he was due. Got one tonight. 0.93 to 0.42 expected goals, 9-7 scoring chances, 4-3 high danger chances. That line's good, man. It keeps on clicking, and that line was good all night. Like, they were the only line that was constantly producing offense and spending time in the offensive zone. So Zetterlund, Granlund, Smith tonight played 11:48, 6-17 shot attempts, 5-7 actual shots, 0.14 to 0.68 expected goals, 2-7 scoring chances, 0-3 high danger chances. This line was really quiet. I know Will Smith got his assist. Grundstrom was playing with Zetterlund, who kind of at the end of the first, he took like a weird hit, spun around, looked like he kind of missed the rest of the first period. Good for him to come back though. Smith did get a primary assist on the Grundstrom goal, but this line just felt really quiet tonight, and it was all parties of this line. So I won't say it was like Will Smith's best game. Like, there wasn't a lot of kind of like flashy plays or anything like that. And this line, like, I talked about my little 10-minute preview, how the top 6 I think needed to perform. We got the Celebrini line to perform. The Granlund line just didn't kind of come through for you tonight. So Goodrow, Cunnin, Kovalenko played 8-07, 3-12 shot attempts, 3-7 actual shots, gave up a goal, 0.05 to 0.44 expected goals, 0-7 scoring chances, 0-2 high danger chances. With Alex Wenberg out tonight with a day-to-day injury, this line just could not do anything. So Dewar, White, and Grundstrom played 4:49, 5-7 shot attempts, 2-6 actual shots on goal, 0-1 goals, 0.25 to 0.3 expected goals, 1-2 scoring chances, 0-1 high danger chances. I thought this line actually played really well in the first period, but like we've seen from the Sharks, things just kind of continue to get away from them. And this line did have a big turnover that led to one of the goals in the second period. And so, yeah. Normal kind of performance, right? You have two good line, like you have two really good lines, or one really good line. You had a second line that I think didn't play up to expectations tonight. And then you have two lines that are a cobble of AHL guys and kind of fourth liners. So I think the Sharks' lack of a real third line, like I'm a real boy third line, they just don't have that right now. And I think that's really one of the big things you're going to have to address this offseason. But that's conversation for another day. So as for the defensive pairs, again, not their best night overall. Coming to shot attempts, the Walman CC line actually positive Corsi at 54.84%. But again, Walman, not the greatest effort. Ferraro Liljegren, 35.48%, 11 to 20. Vlasic Thrun, 27.27%, 6 to 16. The Sharks need to have two. They need to have. You can't just have Walman as your only puck moving defenseman. Like, they need to have somebody else out there. Thompson, Mukamadulin, somebody else. Like, they can't keep living in this world. Like, you have to have one out there at all times. So, yeah. Luckily, a couple days off here for the Sharks. Don't play again until Tuesday. We're gonna put a bow on this game and talk about something fun. As Igor Chernyshov made his OHL debut, and it was really fun. So we're going to talk about that here in just 1 minute. All right, before we get to Chernyshov, do want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. When you're done with this episode, go check out one of the other great shows here at the Locked On Fantasy Hockey. If your team needs some help, starts, sits, who to drop, who to pick up, all that fun stuff, they got you there. Or check out any of the shows in the Bay Area, right? Locked On A's, Locked On Giants, Locked On Warriors, Locked On Niners. Plenty of great stuff going along there. As we know, the Bay Area sports scene right now is definitely where it's at. Or maybe you want to go bone up on the Eagles or the Chiefs before the Super Bowl. Locked On Eagles, Locked On Chiefs, they got you covered there. So you can find any of those shows where you're listening to this show, or also watch on YouTube as well. So yeah, Igor Chernyshov. So just as a reminder, Chernyshov projected to be a top 20 pick in the 2024 draft. Of course, fell to the Sharks. First pick of the second round at 33. A lot of people were like, what's going on here with Igor Chernyshov, right? This guy is a guy who's played in the KHL since he was six, got made his KHL debut at 16, played really well against men, has plenty of soft skills, like dude can score, dude can skate, dude can pass, whatever you need him to be. Also plenty of hard skills of wins board battles, all this. Why did this guy fall to 33? Turns out he needed shoulder surgery, which is why he went from a top 20 pick to the 33rd overall pick. And Mike Greer, hopefully before he watched the Sharks game, was probably just sitting there cackling to himself because Igor Chernyshov made his OHL debut tonight. So he got out of his deal in Russia. The Saginaw Spirit drafted his rights, like they have a kind of an import draft basically. Saginaw drafted his rights. Chernyshov came over, rehabbed with the Sharks, right? Made his OHL debut. Oh my gosh. 2 goals tonight, 0 assists, 3 shots. Saginaw got pumped. It was 8-4 or something like that. I forget what the final score was. But again, we are focused on Chernyshov here. First goal, he scores the first goal 10 seconds into his first shift. Nice backdoor play where he just kind of is sitting there waiting. I think it was Zane Perek got the puck to him. He taps it in. Second goal was a thing of beauty. He gets the puck in the neutral zone, kind of weaves through the defense. There's weaves through the forwards there, gets there. He has the defense kind of back skating. And just this release was just something of beauty. Beats the goalie. Just clean. No chance there. Yeah. Igor Chernyshov is going to be really good, guys. my other big takeaways from this game is just how mature his game is. So as a player who, again, like he's a big boy, 6'3", 205 pounds, like, and he's been playing against grown men over in the KHL and played really well, like bottom 6 minutes, kind of those grinder minutes, which I think really polished his game. Because again, dude has all the skill in the world, should have been a top 20 pick, but has also done all the stuff, like all the stuff that, like Will Smith needs to work on, like most of the young players, like Quentin Musty continues to work on, like that physicality of the game, kind of that smarts, all that type of stuff. Chernishov already shows it. And like like I said, the maturity in his game, I really liked. Defensively, you just tell like he knew where to be in the right place at the right time. I know if you look at the plus minus, like he's going to be a minus tonight. A lot of those were not his responsibility. Breakaways, OHL style games, right? There's a reason why you're playing 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. Like they're going to make those mistakes. But I was really impressed. Again, he just kind of knew where to be, really patient with the puck. How many like he would do that thing where it looks like he's going to skate, stops, kind of lets the defender go by him, takes that breath and finds a nice outlet pass. He looked like a grown man playing against children, which he is, right? I mean, I know he's 19, but like he's a grown man playing against children here, which is good for him, especially with, right, doesn't speak English, coming over to North America, a little bit different game over here compared to the KHL. This is going to be a great opportunity for him to just build up his confidence, crush children for the next couple months. Saginaw, I think they're pretty good, but maybe not like London good, but should get some playoff experience playing with Saginaw. You're going to be playing with potentially future Shark Michael Misa. He's playing on the first line. He's playing on the power play. They mentioned like before the game, they were going to be kind of try to limit his minutes here again for a guy who hasn't played at all this year. The fitness, even as much as you can ride the bike and run and all that fun stuff, like it's just not playing hockey. So they're going to kind of limit him and kind of ease him in a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of weeks he's playing on the penalty kill for them and just playing in all situations for him. So, yeah. You're going to walk away with a draft where you got Eklund-Celebrini, Sam Dickinson, and Igor Chernyshov guy. Like Chernishov, he's going to be so good. Like tonight was just a taste of it. The dude is going to be a monster. He's going to be like, I know people want like, oh, we should get, Porter Martone. You have a Porter Martone at home. He's just Russian. So dude's a monster. Monster. Yeah. So I think for the plan I know people ask, well, what's the long-term plan? Just a reminder, because he was in the KHL when he got drafted, Igor Chernishov can play in the AHL at any time. So my guess with the Sharks with this plan is let him go dominate this season in the AHL or in the OHL, pad some stats, score some sick goals, have a great time, get used to living in North America. We'll see you in the AHL next year, right? Because he can play in the AHL next year because he isn't part of the CHL NHL agreement because, again, he was in Russia when he was drafted. It's kind of the same thing with Kasper Halttunen, right? It's not where you're playing the year, it's where you were playing when you were drafted. So we could have the Barracuda next year could be rolling out Kasper Halttunen, Quentin Musty, and Igor Chernyshov. That is some big boys coming to the Barracuda next year. So, yeah, I'm probably going to write up on Friday afternoon. I'll probably have an article coming out on the Reef that will actually kind of break down Chernyshov's games more. We're going to actually put clips and stuff like that because I can't do it on YouTube here because, we're not allowed to on the Lockdown channel. Don't want to get suspended and all that fun. All the rules with YouTube. So, but we'll have check out on the Reef. I'll probably make it free for you guys because Chernyshov had a really, really great night. So we'll have that sometime Friday evening. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Be back on Monday. So we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about as we're almost at 4 Nations break, guys. We're almost there. So make sure you're following wherever you get podcasts, and of course you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until Monday, bye, friends.